Hey, it's TJ from theobamanites.com. That's www.theobamanites.com. Coming to you today just to address a few comments that was made by this idiot Rush Limbaugh on NBC. You all have already seen the interview, but one thing that really jumped out to me was when the reporter asked him, or the interviewer asked him, to, in one word or two words, describe the following. And she asks him to describe George W. Bush, and he goes on to say that, he's an honest man and he's a good man, and, he's just really, at heart, a good person. And then she asks him about the President of the United States, and this guy says, well, he's a disaster. And I think that Rush Limbaugh has to be the biggest idiot in the United States of America. Now, he's a very rich idiot. He's a very profitable idiot. But, not all money is good money. And the way he makes his money is by going on the attack of any Democratic issue, platform, president, congressperson, anything that's related to the Democratic Party. Whether it's a good idea or not, he's just basically going to attack it. Now, here we have George W. Bush, who, without a question of a doubt, ran the worst 8 years of any president in the history of the United States of America, going all the way back to the election that he stole outright, from Al Gore. But we're not even going to go that far. We're just going to look at the last couple of months of his administration, whereas the economy ran directly into the toilet. So if we were going to begin to hand out the title of disaster, I think that we would have to start with George W. Bush before you can even open your mouth, Rush, to address President Barack Obama. The TARP reform, the TARP program, the bailout for banks, the bailout for AIG, all of this was a George W. Bush idea after he sat idly by and watched the whole damn country go to hell. And so when we speak in terms of disasters, you have to first start with George W. Bush, because here is a president that waited a year before even admitting that the country was in a recession. But the fact that he waited a year to acknowledge that we were in a recession doesn't really. It means absolutely nothing, because he is the exact same guy that waited 411 days before actually allowing an investigation into September 11th. His whole entire administration was a disaster. If we start with 9/11 all the way up to when he left office, it was a total disaster. So I understand why Rush, I understand why he has the cult-like following, because, Manson proved that you can get anybody to follow anybody. It doesn't really matter. The fact that he has that many listeners, if you find what the hot button is, especially in a country of racist rednecks, if you find out and just speak directly to whatever their issue is, then of course you're going to get ratings. If I wanted to get on the air and just say a bunch of horrible things about white people, I would get ratings. But I have no intention or desire to incite people, and besides, white America, really, as an African American, every major accomplishment we achieved in this country, we had assistance from kind-hearted, wonderful people that just happened to be white. So, and that's the one thing that'll separate me from a Rush Limbaugh, is I'm not going to group everybody together. I'm not going to say that the NFL is a bunch of thugs and with the Crips and Bloods. I'm not going to make, comments like that just to rally my racist base. But when you get to the point that you're making ignorant comments, that's when I have to pause for a second and just address the ignorant comment. Because to say that he is a disaster when there hasn't been one bill that has actually passed. There hasn't been one piece of legislation that he has actually passed. It's only been 9 months. The man has only been in office 9 months on a 4-year term. He is not judged within the first 9 months. He is judged based on 4 years. Now, if we get to the end of 4 years and we see that he has yet to accomplish anything, then I would be the first to say, you know what, hey, this didn't work out for us like we thought it was. But, coming off of George Bush, anybody, anything, anyone, anybody can sit in the White House and do a much better job than Mr. Incompetence himself. So when you see President Obama receiving the Nobel Peace Prize, that's because the person before him was a warmonger. When you see President Obama celebrating the fact that the economy is turning around, that's because the guy in front of him didn't have a clue on how to create jobs and sustain an economy over a 4-year period. This is why when President Clinton handed George Bush a perfect economy, within 4 years it was already destroyed. So I just wanted to touch on these things because as an Obama-nite, it is my duty to address these issues and to address the attacks of those on the right. And we welcome all of you. We welcome anyone who would like to join us. We're a non-profit. We don't ask for any money. We just ask for passionate people to deal with foolishness and lies, that spew out of the mouth of people like Rush Limbaugh and Hannity. And I hate to even mention these people's name, but they're polarizing the country and they're trying to create a race war. And I think that, the honorable men and women amongst us need to stand up. You can visit our website, www.theobamanites. Join us. The fight continues to create a more perfect union for every American, not just the elite, not just the wealthy, but each and every American. Thank God the healthcare bill is moving forward regardless of what form it's in. Something is better than nothing, and we celebrate our president on his accomplishment of the Nobel Peace Prize. Once again, guys, this is TJ from the Obama-nites. Visit the site, drop me a line. I would love to hear from you. Until then, the revolution is now being televised.